people are going back to work, more things are opening up. So a lot of dogs are being left home alone that are used to having their companions with them. So, what are some things that dog owners can do in preparation for going back to work to kind of ease that anxiety?
Totally. So there's three big things that I would recommend. And the first is really a routine setup. It's important that we recognize that this is a big change for the dog. And the sooner that you can implement a new set of daily habits that encompass leaving them alone, the more comfortable they'll be when you actually have to leave. So we look at the exercise that the dog has in its day, when and how it eats, and when and how it gets freedom to interact socially. So the first recommendation is thinking of creating playtime, training time, and exercise time that then is followed by downtime, which you could think of as nap time, and use that time where this is pretty logical. The dog's tired. You're going to use that as a chance to let the dog nap, but in a confined space. And for puppies, that might be a crate or a pen. For adult dogs, it might be a baby gated room. But ultimately, we want to set up a daily habit where there's downtime, where the dog is either napping or chewing on their own toys, not on your furniture. And you use that time to step out of view, whether you're just going upstairs to an office, you're going to a kitchen to cook a meal, or you're actually leaving. So just to repeat that, our main recommendation is, and this is more specific, before you try to leave your dog alone, you think, what has my dog's day been like up till this point? And you want to have some exercise and enrichment as part of that day prior to the absence. So what we recommend in our puppy program is 10 minutes of positive reward training. So I don't know if I'll go into that too much, but we do clicker training in our programs, which is a form of training where it's all game based. And if you play 10 minutes of games with your dog, it's exhausting. So we do 10 minutes of training, 10 minutes of play, which is fetch or tug of war, and then a 10-minute walk. And we find that combination, we call it the 10, 10, and 10. If you come back from doing that and put a stuffed Kong toy into your dog's crate, you put the dog in there, and we'll talk about how to do that. You maybe turn the lights down, you make sure the air is cool and calm, there's no external distractions, and then you just walk away. And there's likely to be some whining or barking initially, but you're gonna try to wait that out if you can until your puppy settles into the scene and ideally takes a nap. And that's typically for a half hour to an hour that they're in there. Imagine you do that twice a day for breakfast and for dinner. Now you've got two practiced absences where your dog is basically learning that being alone is part of their daily life. And that sets them up really great for when you actually have to leave the house. It's not going to be a huge emotional surprise for them. The second thing I would think about is playing games with the crate. So what we do in our programs is gather some of the dog's favorite food. We walk over to their crate, and this is funny, we just look at it. And out of curiosity, the dog walks over to go, what are you looking at? And we start to say yes, or in clicker training, we click, the moment that the dog makes a choice to approach their crate. And then we just drop treats into the crate for any interest that the dog has, whether it's just sniffing it, walking in, putting their nose in. Obviously, we're trying to build up the criteria there so that they're starting to walk all the way in. And the most important thing about this is the vibe. It's all a game. It's very different feeling than when you're actually trying to leave a house and you feel that pressure to get the dog into the crate and you end up really picking them up and kind of shoving them in there, which is okay, but it doesn't leave the dog happy to go into the crate the next time. So setting aside time where you can play it out as a game, and we break this down for our clients, of course, where you're then closing the door and leaving the dog in there for a few minutes at a time. But playing out for fun.
To be a safe place.
A safe place.
Yeah, you absolutely want them to feel like it's their home, a happy place.
Yes. So we say things like you can't over treat your dog for being in their crate. It's meant to be the best place possible for them. You heard me mention Kong toys. You might be familiar with Kong toys. Any kind of toy that can be stuffed with food and you put in the crate, you are cutting right to something that is inherently interesting to a dog. The opportunity to chew and dissect, the opportunity to smell new smells. It's very engaging. So if somebody says, I tried to give my dog a Kong or a bone and they didn't seem interested, the first thing I'm going to do is give them a recommended list of creative ways of stuffing that toy. The more creative you can be with it, the better. So we recommend things like kibble at the bottom of a Kong, sliced banana, and then peanut butter, or yogurt and blueberries, layers. And then even better is if you freeze it and give it to them. And honestly, like changing it up all the time, making it interesting and something that your dog maybe will find novel is really key to getting them excited about being in that crate. And something I can do for you too is send along some links that we share with our clients that you're welcome to share as well.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That's great advice. So thank you very much.
Of course, of course. The last thing I should mention just about that, we're talking about setting up the space and preparing the dog mentally for being tired and wanting to nap. And there, a lot of that, honestly, is going to work out great for puppies. If it's an older dog, we're talking about severe separation anxiety, where when the dog's left alone, it might hurt themselves with complaints from your neighbors. That's a more severe case, and I would encourage people to reach out to either their vet and ask questions there, or seek out a certified dog trainer or behavior specialist and make sure that they're getting really good advice about how to structure a full ongoing plan for that behavior. It can be a complicated issue, and there's big varieties of how dogs deal with separation, and some of that, the symptoms can be pretty severe. So definitely seek out certified trainers or a veterinary behaviorist if you feel like your dog is dealing with that.
Great. Thank you very much, Matt.